CBP counters Trump. $500 million tariff revenue collected since April 5th, not $2 billion daily. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection reported collecting $500 million in reciprocal tariffs since April 5th, contradicting President Donald Trump's claim that the U.S. is taking in $2 billion per day from tariffs. Since April 5th, CBP has collected over $500 million under the new reciprocal tariffs, contributing to more than $21 billion in total tariff revenue from 15 presidential trade actions implemented since January 20th, 2025, the agency said in a statement to CNBC. Trump hesitates on tariff hikes, delays TikTok deal amid trade talks. U.S. President Donald Trump said he is hesitant to raise tariffs further, warning that excessively high tariffs would discourage consumer spending in the U.S. "I don't want them to go higher because at a certain point you make it where people don't buy," Trump told reporters at the White House. He added, "So, I may not want to go higher, or I may not want to even go up to that level. I may want to go to less because you want people to buy, and at a certain point, people aren't going to buy." On the matter of TikTok, the legal deadline for China-based ByteDance to divest its U.S. assets has been extended multiple times. Trump indicated that a deal is in place, but it will be delayed until the broader trade issue with China is resolved. "We have a deal for TikTok, but it'll be subject to China, so we'll just delay the deal till this thing works out one way or the other," Trump said. SpaceX, Palantir, Anduril pitch for Trump's Golden Dome missile defense project, Reuters. Trump's Golden Dome missile defense initiative, modeled after Israel's Iron Dome, is gaining traction, with SpaceX, Palantir, and Anduril pitching a plan to build it. The proposal includes deploying a constellation of 400 to over 1,000 tracking satellites. A second phase would add around 200 attack satellites equipped with intercepting capabilities like missiles or lasers, although SpaceX reportedly won't be involved in arming them. SpaceX suggested a subscription-based model to accelerate deployment and bypass typical Pentagon red tape.
Tesla scales back Cybertruck output, delays cheaper Model Y timeline. Tesla has reportedly reduced production targets for several Cybertruck lines in recent months, also thinned out a handful of production teams, and certain lines are now operating at a small fraction of their former capacity. "It feels a lot like they're filtering people out," one of the workers said. "The parking lot keeps getting emptier." Since January, Tesla has been reassigning some employees from its Cybertruck line at the Texas Gigafactory to the Model Y line, according to 4 workers. Meanwhile, although Tesla has publicly committed to launching more affordable vehicles in the first half of 2025, sources told Reuters that U.S. production of the cheaper Model Y will begin several months later than planned, possibly as late as early 2026. 2 sources said the company now aims to produce 250,000 of the lower-cost Model Y units in the U.S. in 2026. Archer's NYC air taxis to launch in 2025, slashing airport commute times. Archer Aviation plans to launch its air taxi services in New York in 2025, using its piloted midnight aircraft, which accommodates 4 passengers. The eVTOL company plans to offer 5 to 15-minute flights from key Manhattan heliports to John F. Kennedy International, LaGuardia, and Newark Liberty International airports, as well as other regional airports, significantly cutting down the typical 1 to 2 hour car travel time. Archer is building its aircraft in the US and has secured FAA Part 135 certification, with type certification currently in progress. United Airlines, a longtime investor in Archer, has placed significant orders for the midnight aircraft and plans to integrate the air taxi service into its travel network, enabling passengers to book it as part of their overall journey.
Department of Energy's $10 billion clean energy funding cuts could impact major projects, Wall Street Journal. The U.S. Department of Energy is reportedly planning major cuts that could halt nearly $10 billion in clean energy funding, impacting projects in hydrogen, carbon capture, and energy storage, the Wall Street Journal reported. Contracts at risk of losing DOE funding include ExxonMobil's hydrogen fuel project at an ethylene plant, Occidental Petroleum's carbon capture project in Texas, and NextEra Energy's long-duration storage initiative. The DOE may also pull support from 4 regional hydrogen hubs in Democrat-leaning areas, while continuing to fund 3 in Republican regions. Over 250 clean tech projects, ranging from electric vehicle charging, wave energy, battery recycling, solar, wind, are also reportedly under review. Nasdaq, S&P, Dow tumble. Gold soars, dollar dips as Trump threatens Fed independence. Wall Street tumbled Monday amid growing concerns over Trump's push to undermine the Federal Reserve's independence. The Nasdaq fell 2.5%, S&P 500 dropped 2.3%, and Dow plunged 2.4%, with all 11 S&P sectors ending in the red. Dow Industrial's nearly 1,000-point plunge puts it on pace for its worst April since 1932. Gold surged past the $3,500 per ounce threshold for the first time Monday night, also being pushed higher by the continued uncertainty over tariffs and trade tensions. The dollar dropped to a decade low against the Swiss franc and hit fresh multi-year lows against the euro and other major currencies. White House advisor Kevin Hassett said Friday that Trump's team was studying whether Fed Chair Powell can be fired. On Monday, Trump demanded lower rates in a post on social media, saying costs are trending downward and the economy could slow unless Mr. Too Late, a major loser, lowers interest rates now. Trump's comments sparked fears of a politicized Fed. Analysts warned further attacks on Fed autonomy could deepen market volatility and hurt the economy.
Huawei to begin mass shipments of AI chip, rivaling NVIDIA H100. Huawei Technologies plans to begin mass shipments of its new Ascend 910C AI chip to Chinese customers as early as next month, according to Reuters. Initially tested in 2023, the 910C is said to rival NVIDIA's H100, which is not sold directly in China. Huawei reportedly expects orders to exceed 70,000 chips, valued around $2 billion. The GPU is an architectural upgrade, not a breakthrough. The 910C GPU combines two of its earlier 910B chips to match H100 level performance, offering double the computing power and memory of its predecessor. It was not known which companies would be mainly manufacturing the 910C. While China's SMIC is producing some components using a N+27 nanometer process, yield rates are reportedly low. At least some of Huawei's 910C's used chips that were manufactured by Taiwan's TSMC for SoftGo, a Chinese firm. The US Commerce Department is now investigating TSMC's work for SoftGo, following concerns that its chips ended up in Huawei's high-end processors. CATL unveils 5-minute fast-charge battery with 323-mile range, launches sodium and dual power cells. CATL unveiled a new version of its Shenzhen battery, capable of delivering 323 miles of range with just 5 minutes of charging, over 70 miles more than BYD's latest. With 38% global market share, CATL supplies batteries to Tesla, Ford, and Volkswagen. At its Tech Day event, CATL also announced its sodium-ion battery, Naxtra, is ready for commercialization, offering up to 311 miles of range for a fully electric vehicle. Sodium-ion batteries are more cost-effective and more stable than lithium batteries. Additionally, CATL introduced dual-power batteries that can reach up to 932 miles on a single charge using a regular fast-charging battery cell with an auxiliary cell side-by-side for upgraded performance.
Chipotle to enter Mexico in 2026 as global expansion grows. Chipotle has signed a deal with Alsea, which is a well-known restaurant operator in Latin America and Europe, to open its first location in Mexico. Chipotle aims to open its first Mexico location by early 2026 and will begin exploring additional expansion markets in the region. The move follows a 2023 partnership with Alshaya Group for the Middle East, where it now has 5 restaurants, 3 restaurants in Kuwait and 2 in the United Arab Emirates. Chipotle's existing international portfolio of owned and operated restaurants includes 58 locations in Canada, 20 in the United Kingdom, 6 locations in France, and 2 in Germany. The company aims to grow from 3,700 to 7,000 locations in the US and Canada in the long term. AWS joins Microsoft in pausing some data center leasing. Over the weekend, we heard from several industry sources that AWS has paused a portion of its leasing discussions on the colocation side, particularly international ones. Analyst Eric Lubchow wrote in a note to clients. It's not clear the magnitude of the pause, but the positioning is similar to what we've heard recently from Microsoft. They are digesting aggressive recent lease-up deals. However, we do not believe they are canceling already signed deals, simply pulling back from a pipeline of letter of intents or statement of qualifications. Lubchow added that while Microsoft and Amazon may be pulling back, the other hyperscalers, like Google, Meta, and Oracle, are still active, and there is still elevated activity coming from NVIDIA.
Not sure. 145% is very high, and it won't be that high. It's not going to be that high. It got up to there. We were talking about fentanyl, where various elements built it up to 145. No, it won't be anywhere near that high. It'll come down substantially, but it won't be zero. It used to be zero. We were just destroyed. China was taking us for a ride, and just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We're going to be very good to China, have a great relationship with President Xi, but they would make billions and billions and billions of dollars a year, and they would build their military out of the United States and what they made, so that won't happen. But they're going to do very well, and I think they're going to be happy, and I think we're going to live together very happily and ideally work together. So I think it's going to work out very well. But no, it's at 145%. They will not be anywhere near that number. It's all coming down. The only thing that hasn't come down but hasn't gone up much are interest rates, and we think the Fed should lower the rate. We think that it's a perfect time to lower the rate, and would like to see our chairman be early or on time as opposed to late. Late's not good.
Mr. President, you've said
I don't want to talk about that because I have no intention of firing him.
You have no intention of firing Jerome Powell because your economic advisor, Kevin Hassett, a few days ago said that you and people in the White House were studying this idea of possibly getting before his term ends.
No.
Do you have any plans on doing that?
None whatsoever. Never did. The press runs away with things. No, I have no intention of firing him. I would like to see him be a little more active in terms of his idea to lower interest rates. This is a perfect time to lower interest rates. If he doesn't, is it the end? No, it's not. But it would be good timing. It could have taken place earlier. But no, I have no intention to fire him.
DOGE work is mostly done. Musk refocuses on Tesla, robo-taxis, and AI after Q1 miss. On Tesla's Q1 earnings call, Elon Musk said, "DOGE work is mostly done, and beginning in May, my time allocated to DOGE will drop significantly." Musk said he plans to spend only a day or two a week on government matters. Musk reaffirmed that autonomous driving is the next phase, with robo-taxi launches in Austin by June and millions of Teslas operating autonomously by late 2025. Full self-driving should let people go to sleep in your car and wake up at your destination by year-end. As for supply chain risks, especially sourcing battery components from China's CATL and BYD, Tesla is localizing component sourcing to reduce reliance on China, calling it sensible from a cost and logistics standpoint. Tesla currently operates the largest lithium refinery outside of China in South Texas. Musk also expects thousands of Optimus robots in factories next year and aims to produce 1 million a year by 2029. The call followed a weak Q1, with earnings per share at 0.27 and revenue down 9%, missing expectations. U.S. slaps 3,521% tariffs on Asian solar imports amid dumping probe. The U.S. imposed tariffs of up to 3,521% on solar imports from Cambodia, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Thailand after finding that Chinese firms were dumping panels at unfairly low prices. The duties affect major players like Jinko Solar and Trina Solar. The International Trade Commission will vote in June to finalize the tariffs. U.S. firms like Hanwha Q-Cells and First Solar stand to benefit. First Solar shares jumped 10.5% on Tuesday. Tempus AI, AstraZeneca, and Pathos AI team up on AI oncology model. Tempus AI announced multi-year deals with AstraZeneca and Pathos AI to develop a multimodal foundation model for oncology. The deal with AstraZeneca builds on their existing partnership established in 2021. The model aims to generate biological and clinical insights, discover new drug targets, and develop therapeutics for the oncology community. Tempus's oncology data will power the foundation model, which will be shared with all three partners for their own initiatives. The agreements include $200 million in data licensing and development fees to Tempus.
Amazon's Project Kuiper satellite launch delayed to April 28th after production setbacks. Bloomberg. Initial production of the satellites, designed to support a satellite internet service rivaling SpaceX's Starlink, was delayed until the fourth quarter of 2024, with beta testing conducted earlier this year. Now, only a few dozen satellites have been completed, Bloomberg added, citing 3 people familiar with the situation. A planned April 9th launch of 27 Project Kuiper satellites was delayed by bad weather and is now set for April 28th to be handled by United Launch Alliance.
Gemini's user growth nearly quadrupled since October to 350 million monthly active users. TechCrunch. Gemini's daily active users surged from 9 million in October 2024 to 35 million by March, raising its monthly active user count to 350 million. In contrast, OpenAI's ChatGPT had 600 million monthly active users in March.
QuantumScape plans solid-state battery launch, targets 2026 product field launch. CEO Siva Sivaram highlighted QuantumScape's upcoming product launch, emphasizing its role as a low-volume yet high-visibility project intended to showcase its solid-state battery technology for real-world applications. Field testing is planned for 2026, with progress including the shipment of QSC5 samples for integration testing. The Cobra separator process, a key innovation in ceramics processing, is ahead of schedule, with all required equipment installed and qualification progressing well. The process is expected to be baseline ready by Q2 2025, offering an order of magnitude improvement in separator productivity. The company continues its collaboration with PowerCo, Volkswagen Group's battery manufacturing unit, to enhance production automation and equipment designs for higher volume production of QSC5 samples, which will also serve PowerCo's industrial-scale production plans. QuantumScape also entered a framework agreement with Murata Manufacturing for ceramics production to accelerate solid-state technology industrialization. Despite competition from companies like BYD and CATL, Sivaram emphasized that QuantumScape's solid-state solution leads in safety, cycle life, and energy density.
China denies U.S. trade talks, demands end to all unilateral tariffs. At present, there are absolutely no negotiations on the economy and trade between China and the U.S., said Commerce Ministry spokesperson He Yadong, adding that all sayings regarding progress on bilateral talks should be dismissed. He added, if the U.S. really wants to resolve the problem, it should cancel all the unilateral measures on China. Echoing this, China's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Guo Jiakun told state media there are no current trade talks, with both officials reiterating that China is open to dialogue if treated as an equal partner.
Tesla begins robotaxi testing in Austin and Bay Area. Tesla has begun testing its robotaxi service with employees in Austin and the Bay Area ahead of a planned summer 2025 launch. FSD-supervised ride-hailing service is live for an early set of employees in Austin and San Francisco Bay Area. We've completed over 1,500 trips and 15,000 miles of driving, the company posted on X.
Trump lobbies Congress for Safer Banking Act ahead of 2026 midterms. President Trump has reportedly begun lobbying Congress to pass legislation allowing legal cannabis businesses access to the U.S. banking system. The president's push is part of a renewed effort to get the Safer Banking Act finally passed ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. Versions of the Safe and Safer Banking Acts have repeatedly passed the House but stalled in the Senate. According to the Marijuana Herald, Trump began talks with lawmakers this week, per two Senate staffers.
Aurora Innovation to launch first fully autonomous truck on I-45 by month end. Aurora Innovation is advancing towards fully autonomous freight transportation, with plans to remove safety drivers from its vehicles. By the end of this month, the company plans to deploy its first fully autonomous truck on a 200-mile stretch of I-45, a notable freight route between Dallas and Houston. The company aims to have several more autonomous trucks operating on the route by the close of 2025.
Adobe unveils Firefly app with partner AI models from Google and OpenAI. Adobe launched its Firefly app, integrating Firefly models and AI models from Google Cloud and OpenAI, allowing users to create images, videos, audio, and designs in one platform. The company also introduced Firefly Image Model 4 and Firefly Image Model 4 Ultra for impeccable realism and detail, along with the general availability of the Firefly video model for generating footage from text and images. Firefly is now available on the web, with a mobile app coming soon.
TSMC unveils A14 logic process, promising boost in AI and smartphone capabilities. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing unveiled its A14 logic process technology, designed to enhance artificial intelligence applications and improve smartphones with onboard AI capabilities. While the A14 is not expected to enter production until 2028, it offers a 15% increase in speed, a 20% boost in logic density, and up to a 30% reduction in power usage compared to the upcoming N2 process. The A14 refers to 14 angstroms or 1.4 nanometers, while the N2 process is 2 nanometers.